We're gonna go over the trade idea we took today. For this one right here, we're gonna go through it real quick. We're gonna clean the chart and we're just gonna review it. Like I told you guys, I could care less if I lost or if I won. So we entered right here for 48. We're gonna do another trade recap. 58. What I plan on doing basically going forward to prevent this from happening. So we're gonna create certain rules. So right now I'm about to create some certain rules. I already have those rules created, but I'm gonna write them down and I'm gonna put them here on paper, and I'm going to just basically put them above my wall. Basically, I have a little pen right here that I'm going to use, and I have two more up there on that wall, and I'm just gonna pin the checklist along with the trading rules. I'm gonna write it down, or probably print it. I think I'll just write it down, because physically, whenever you write something down with your own hand, like you tend to remember it more, and it tends to mean a little bit more for you. So here was the trade idea. 5-minute time frame. We had a 5-minute change in the state of delivery with the inversion fair value gap here, and this is clearly following the system, following the model to the tick, and it just failed. And it happens strategically. It happens. You're gonna lose. You're not always gonna win trading your model, but this is what I'm drinking here. And again, I'm not gonna edit this video. I got a message that from Shorty, and but yeah, we're aiming for like a 1-to-1. So realistically, we're aiming for a little bit above here. I remember, looking at the video, a little bit above that high, and later on you can see we stabbed up. We would have met it, boom. But the market, I was at the gym too at the time, so I went to the gym. And you can see the market just came down and went up, and then it just continued to the upside. So the initial idea was correct. But we got stopped out before the remove happened, and we entered a little bit too prematurely. And again, we should have been able to read the market. Look, it was inside of a range. The whole time, and I should have just been able to really distinguish that in the first place. Here's the first high that we're unable to break above. The low, we're unable to break above. And then we create another high, unable to break above that, create another low, and then we break below the low, and then we start to push up higher to reach those highs, those relative equal highs. And it was just bad. It was bad. So let's go over the first rule, which I'm about to write down and create right now with you guys. Let me take another sip. First things first, one trade a day, and then we walk away. So that's the first rule. Let's put it trading rules. Number 1 is one trade a day. So if I only take one trade a day, I'm lowering my trade frequency by a lot. You know what I'm saying? That means I can only take 5 trades that whole week. And that's not including, the weeks where we have certain holidays or we're just unable to find trades. So realistically, we're probably going to be taking 4 trades a week, if not 3 to 4 trades per week. And that is doable. If we go to my back testing session, here, we can see we have a 1-to-1 risk reward, because at first I was aiming for 1-to-1, then I started to aim for 1-to-2. We can see we got a 1-to-2. We had 21 wins, 12 losses. I started journaling around the 6th, so right around here, right there, the 5th, that's when we started to journal for our journal. And see right here, this is where we were basically journaling. So you can see we lost 400, so that's the first trade we took. We took an L. We won closer. We had a 1.5 R trade, a little bit over, I think 1.8. We lost 1%. So what are we down? We're down around, realistically, let's say 2%. Because again, we 1% L, 1% win, 1, 2, we're down 2%. We're break even here. And then eventually we won 1%. We won another 1%. What does that mean? We're at break even now. And then eventually 1%, 2%. I lost count. But yeah, 1% here, 1%. So we're up around 3%. Another 2% win, or 2% win, and then we're up at 5%. Break even, we lost 1%. We're at 4%. We won 2%. What does that mean? We're around like 6%. Let's say 6%, 1%, 1%. Down 2%. We're at 4%, 6%, 8%. Boom. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're aiming for a 1 to 2, and these are break evens too. We're hitting 1 to R, 1 R, 1 R. I promise you, we're hitting 1 R's. But again, you can see here for these trades, the ones that we lose, we're not hitting that. For the break evens, we're hitting a 1 to 2 1. 0.7, we're not hitting. Break even, we're hitting a 1 to 5 1. So again, those break even trades, we're hitting like a 1 R minimum. You know what I'm saying? 1 R minimum. And look at this trader here. Boom. We're hitting 2 R's. Nice, beautiful trades. Confidence 5. You know what I'm saying? I'm confident. Checklist, everything met. You know what I'm saying? I have that checklist right here, bro. Right here. Why can't I follow that checklist when I'm trading? You know what I'm saying? Like when I'm back testing, it doesn't make sense. You know, 10-10 right there. You know, we're taking one trade a day. We're not trading every single day though. We don't see trades every single day. For September though, you can see we're hot. We're hot. You know what I'm saying? Like the 10th, 11th, 12th. 3 in a row, back to back, bro. Some weeks you're gonna have that. Other weeks you're only gonna have like 1 or 2 trades. You know what I'm saying? October we only had like, or last week of October we only had like 1 trade right there for a certain week. It's like that, bro. Not every single day is gonna be a trading day, and I tend to like just try to force it to be, but it's not. Not every single day is gonna be a high probability day to trade, but I tend to force it. You know what I'm saying? So again, 1 trade a day only. That's the first rule. Second rule, which is pretty basic, but is follow the trading checklist. Follow the trading system / checklist. To the tick. Every single confluence has to check off no matter what. I'm not gonna allow myself to deviate away from it anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm really making a promise to myself here. So we're gonna follow the model. We're gonna follow the trading. To the tick. And then we're gonna have the third rule. This one's gonna be temporary. For the prop firms, we're only gonna risk 1% per trade idea. So I know it's a lot of people are like, oh, why are you doing that? Why are you only risking 1%? You know, or you're not gonna scale as quickly as you should. You know, like what? But I tend to realize, you know, like I'm aiming for consistency here, and I have never passed a prop firm. You know what I'm saying? I passed like a phase 1 on FX or something, but I never gotten funded. I've never gotten a payout. And I realized, you know, in order for me to like really milk those things and like really scale as those other people are doing, I can't approach it like they are. I have to build my way up. I have to climb the mountain all the way from the bottom. I'm not up there where they are, you know what I'm saying? And I still have to build. I still have to backtest more. I still have to learn more things about my trading, my system, and myself. And again, like I'm just not aiming for the quick profits. You know, I'm not aiming for the quick, cheap dopamine. I'm aiming for the consistency. I'm aiming for the longevity here. And I've realized that over the past month. You know, like when I'm losing, I spiral. When I lose like 3% in one day, I spiral. You know, it makes me crash out. I blow the account. I'm only 1% just down to lose. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? Like I realized that I only need 3 good trades, risking 1% and having a 2R. That's all. 2%. I hit 2% win. No, is that 4%, and then is that 6%? Then I pass the account, and that's all. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not that hard. Of course, it's not going to be a just like clean mountain up where I hit 1%. It's going to be a slippery slope. I know that it's going to be up and down. But that's where the improvement comes. That's where the longevity comes, and that's where you sustain an account, bro. And when I do get funded, I do plan on risking 0.5, like 250, bro, per trade idea, and you know that's the same thing, really. Like I thought to myself when I was reflecting earlier outside, I thought to myself, like, if you were to make what you make at your 9 to 5, basically like 1% on this account per week, would you be satisfied? Would you be sustained? And I thought to myself, I was like, yeah. You know, I'll be like, yeah, I'll sustain off of that. You know, like if I'm making that in trading per week, I'm cool with that, bro. So then do it, bro. Like, why are you like trying to over here like flip mountains, bro? Like, there's no point. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we're gonna risk 1%. Risk 1% on combines for now. and then comma 0.25 or 0.5 on funded. There. So I know this one is going to hurt me a lot more because I want to scale a lot more quickly, and I want to, get up there. I want to be funded. I want to have like 6 figures in capital, 7 figures or max allocation, and be funded and get those big 5-figure payouts, bro. But I realize, it's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of hard work to get to that point, and it's not going to be overnight. I tend to rush the process. I tend to keep thinking, like maybe tomorrow I'm going to be able to pass an account, or next week I'll be able to pass an account and get funded and then do this and that. But like I told myself in my notes, it's more about the process. More about the process. It says we're too focused on the objectives. We get blinded by the actual process. So we don't focus on the process. We're not focusing on the inputs, on what it takes to be profitable. 1 trade a day. When we're back testing, guess what? We're only trading 10 to 12, and that's what I'm planning on doing here too. That's my 4th rule. The most important one is only trading through 10 through 12. New York session. Walking away after that too. Because again, like, only trading 10 through 12 is so important because, like, if I'm trading, I don't want to be sitting here on the charts all day. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I'm backtesting, if I don't find anything by 12, I skip to the next day. Some days I stay by PM session and I find something, but the majority of the time I'm looking for the trade in the AM session. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it makes no point of trying to, force a setup when in reality the volume is going to be low. The market's not really there. And plus, I want to have my day going by, like, I want to be done looking at the charts by 12 New York time, which is 11 my time. And I want to go to the gym. I got other stuff to do. I can be reading, backtesting, reviewing the trades, and learning new things, new skills. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always room for improvement outside of trading. And yeah, that's pretty much really it. I'm really disappointed in myself for the past month. Honestly, I blew so many combines. I don't even want to think about how many I've blown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this one's about to be gone soon. I mean, truly honest. But yeah, let's go to the risk. Right here, 500. We're gonna go right here, and then eventually maximum trades per day. It's gonna be 1 and then 5. So boom, we're gonna save it, and that's pretty much really it. We're gonna keep it like this. And then eventually daily loss limit, personal daily loss limit is gonna be 500. Liquidate and block. Yeah, we're just gonna do that. Daily profit target, we're gonna aim for 1,000, and then eventually we're gonna liquidate and block, and that's pretty much really it. That's it. Lock settings for today. Boom. That's it. Simple as that. I think I'm gonna keep it like that, honestly, because there's no point of me trying to, like, change it. I'm not gonna, if I said I'm gonna do something, I'm not gonna change it. Even then, I shouldn't even have to lock it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I should physically or like mentally have the system already in lock. You know what I'm saying? Like, I shouldn't try to deviate away from it. I don't know why. Like, something inside of your brain, like, these prop firms really mess with you on a daily level, like on like a mental perspective. Let's copy trade these accounts real quick too. Hold on, guys. I'll be right back. All right, so we have the new combine. The next trade we take, if we lose, other accounts gone. I'm not gonna lie. I think I might buy another one and copy trade all 3 of those. This one's a fresh one. I think I want to do that simply because I'm confident in myself. I really am confident in my system and my trading. Again, with the back tested session, I think I'm pretty confident that the results will speak for themselves. I'm gonna continue back testing. That's not my first back test. That's my 4th back tested session. The results are profitable, but it's really whenever you're live trading, the emotional attachment to accounts, the objectives, to pass this, that, breaking the rules and all that. So that's pretty much really it. Let's go through this real quick. Let's go through this. 30-minute time frame. BPR never held. CRT never really held. Let's go through this a little bit. let's go over this trade, and then I'm gonna call it a day here, and I'm gonna go to the park and walk my dog, probably meditate and journal, and then I'm actually go. Oh, that shit's so good. But yeah, that's the trading rules. Let's pull out the paper here. That's gonna be the trading rules here. Just reading them. One trade a day. Follow the trading model to the tick. Risk 1% for combines for now, and then 0.5 on fundeds. Only trading 10 through 12 New York session. That is going to be what we're gonna fix up, and then put it on a paper and stick to that. I don't know what I got to do to ingrain that into my mind. I know Top Step has those rules. I'm really glad. I'm going to continue to use them to my advantage and use that to make me more disciplined, to the point where like I don't even have to risk it, or I mean unlock those settings for the day. You know, I'm just mentally going to do that. But yeah, here we had a 30-minute bullish BPR. But if we go up to the higher time frame, let's go up to the higher time frame. Let's view it from a perspective where we don't have anything. So on the daily time frame here, we had daily CRT. We had an inversion though. We had a 4-hour our daily buy side imbalance, our SIBI, which got inverse here. You can see the market did respect. So the daily for me, it was bullish. 4-hour time frame though, this is bearish here because we had a SIBI or BISI get inverse. And I thought to myself when I was trading earlier, I was like, wow, I can see why we were bearish. You know, the daily PJ rate was cool, but this 4-hour looks bearish. You know, this R right here looks bearish. Looks like the market is probably gonna push lower, you know, with all this right here. And it did push lower. Never swept liquidity down here though, and then it pushed up higher, but it never reached the buy side up here. On the 1-hour time frame though, we're inside of a range. We should have seen this. We should have anticipated this. We had a 1-hour SIBI. Buy side objectives never met. You know, I expected at 10 a.m. the market to open up, push up higher. This candle right here, the 11 through 12, to retrace, and then have that push up. Again, I'm not aiming for this big, you know, push right here. I'm not aiming for this right here. I'm not aiming for this either. I'm just aiming for a little piece of the pie, like right here, like that. That's all I was aiming for. A good 30 points, 30 to 50 point range. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not aiming for the moon. You know what I'm saying? But again, we're sweeping liquidity, sweeping the lows. We're not really reversing like after the retracement though. That's the sad part. I was looking for the retracement to then reverse. That never happened. But we did have this right here. Failed to have that change in the state of delivery. I think if we had a change in the state of delivery, or we broke above this high right here, that would have had a good retracement to then push up. That would have given us the more bullish confirmation, but we never had that. We had the BPR form, we retraced, we failed, continue up. First trade right here, we entered off of a 3-minute change in the state of delivery, and I think it was a good trade. This should have been the first trade where we lost, and we should have called it a day there. It was a good one, but this, we could have waited for the inversion. I was beating myself up. I was like, okay, we didn't get the inversion, we lost, boom, we took it out. But here was the second trade right here on the 5-minute. And that wasn't a bad trade either. This was not a bad trade. We had a 5-minute inversion for value gap form. We had a change in the state of delivery. We had a 30-minute CRT there form at 13 o'clock right here. 12:30 formed that one. But the 13 o'clock one opened up right. Where's 13 o'clock? 13 o'clock opened up. We moved down lower, pushed up higher. I thought, you know, we're going to reach take profit. I thought we're going to push up higher. Boom, instantly move lower. 45-minute time frame. What does that form? It forms a 45-minute CRT. Even though this one doesn't really have anything, it's in more of a volatility injector. This candle sweeps the low, and it has a high to meet. Boom, we sweep the low. We open up 15 o'clock right there. 15 o'clock right here. The market is already pushing up higher. You can't do anything about it. You cannot do anything about it on the 5-minute. On the 3-minute, these are all fair value gaps. So what are you going to trade? What can you trade? What inversion are you going to take? You can't take anything. On the 15-minute time frame, what can you take here? Nothing. There's nothing really here you can take. There's no trade for me to take. I don't know why today I was looking for something to trade. This would have been a good trader here at 12:30 to 12:45. That would have been the trade idea to take. Right here, this would have been the trade idea to take to have a quick 1-to-1, but we weren't looking for that. You know, buy side balance respected, pushed up, then we disrespected it. That should have been the trade. Or we could have looked for this right here. You know, 12:45 right here. Retracing, we enter, boom, and then we take that move up higher. 15-minute CRT completed, call it a day there. But no, I was looking for the big meat of the move, and I got punished for it. You know, I thought this was going to be the good move, push up higher, complete the CRT, but it never happened. And then eventually the market did move up higher. So the bias was correct. Everything here was correct. It was just the delivery. And again, after the first L, we should have just walked away. I should have just walked away. I should have just called it a day there. I should have never been so caught up into what the market was doing. You know, I failed to realize, you know, what I needed to see, and I got punished for it. And as simple as that. The system, it sometimes, you know, like there's some things where, you know, it's not high probability. Like on a day like today, it wasn't high probability. The market was not giving us what we wanted to see on every other market, so we got punished for it, you know. Let's pull up the other markets, you know, and let's go through them. On the 30-minute time from here for the other ones, I know we got punished on NQ multiple times right here for this one, and then eventually this one. But YM, we took this one right here at 13 o'clock. And you can see here at 13 o'clock for all these markets, what they're moving lower, had one more push up, and then eventually moved down lower. You know, here on the 5-minute for this one, we failed to make this inverse. We failed to make that inverse. Here on the 5-minute, we made this inverse. You know, we made that inverse. And we started to push up higher, you know. Or here on this one, we made this one inverse right here. This one, we made this inverse. We were chopping around, pushed up higher, then we failed, then we pushed lower. NQ never made this inverse. NQ never made this 5-minute fair value gap inverse right there, as you can see that there. It never did, bro. And that just goes to show, you know, like the lack of disrespect the market has here for this one. This one moved up, but it just moved down lower. You know, I should have not been trading here. The conditions were not set. If, you know, the markets are moving in sync here and we're not getting everything to form on every single market, then there's just no point of trying to trade. You know, we had no SMT divergence. There was nothing here really that formed until later on throughout the night, where this one formed a low and this one formed a higher low. This one formed a lower low. And we could have just traded ES or YM. You know, there would have been the SMT there, but we didn't have that there. And we were just failing to have it. And at 13 o'clock, and we just took a trade we know we shouldn't have taken, which we got punished by. And that's pretty much really it. Again, we're going to backtest 50 trades a week. That's another thing I forgot to say. Backtest 50 trades a week, 1 trade a day per day, 1% per account on the combine. And then eventually, once we're funded, 0.5 on the funded. And then eventually, what else am I missing? New York session only, 10 to 12, calling it a day, walking away from the charts, only taking a trade in that time period. Nothing before 10 o'clock. I mean, 9:30 we can open, move up. No, I'm not taking it. You know what I'm saying? Waiting until 10 o'clock, 10 to 12. And then eventually, that's really it. Follow the trading model to the tick. Not entering too early. If we take a loss, we walk away. Simple as that. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have another trading opportunity tomorrow. Not every day we're going to win. You know what I'm saying? But the majority of the time, we have like an 80% strike rate. 80 to like 70% strike rate. We're going to win. At least a 1-to-1. It's like 60% for 1-to-2. That's pretty much really it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I will catch you guys tomorrow. So yeah, peace.